A lot of what we do here is underpinned by French culinary technique. So David and I, my chef, we're going to take a French culinary classic, which is coq au vin, which normally is chicken, mushrooms, bacon, all cooked in wine in a really classic sort of casserole type, earthy French provincial style. But we're going to deconstruct it a bit. We're going to start with the garlic custard. So for the garlic, I actually use quite a bit. Basically, just squash it, leave it unpeeled, put that in the stock, just let that reduce by about half, and then into the other saucepan we're going to put some lovely fresh cream, and we're going to put some aromats in there, so just some chopped onion, parsley, thyme and carrot, and just allow that to infuse. I'm just going to get David to bone the poussin for us. So first of all, he takes the top tips off the wings. So what we're going to do is get a separation of the legs, and we're going to completely bone out the leg and thigh. So we end up with two nice pieces of meat. Just taking the breast off the bone, really good sharp knife, and always blade down towards the bone and not up towards the skin so that you don't rupture the skin. So you've got a nice intact skin. And all of the bones will be used to make a quick sauce today. So just going to French the bone. So it's almost like a little Kiev cut. Just scraping the meat away from the bone, again with the blade down towards the bone. The leg and thigh, we're actually going to pop into a marinade, which is a combination of thyme, salt, lemon rind, garlic, white peppercorns and coriander seeds. And you really need them to marinate at least 3 hours. So we're just going to put that little garlic custard together. So we've got the infused stock with the garlic in it and the infused aromats in the cream. And I'm just going to strain the stock into the cream, and we're just going to pour the warm cream mixture over the whisked up eggs. But the nice thing that happens is that you end up with this lovely garlic that's been poached in chicken stock. So, you know, really what I would do is I would just smear that on some beautiful hot bread coming out of the oven, and, you know, you've got a marriage made in heaven. Anyway, here's our custard mix, and then we pour them into some greased moulds. And they go into a bain-marie, a foil over the top to protect the top, otherwise they'll go a little bit bubbly. And at a very low oven, 130 Celsius, for about 40 minutes. I would probably check them at about 35, and you just give them a little shake and just make sure the middle's still quivering. You don't want them to completely set, because when you take them out of the bain-marie, they're in fact still cooking.
Yeah. Okay.
What we're going to do now is just a very quick sauce. So starting off, melting some butter and with a little bit of oil, some of the bones from the chicken, some chicken stock and some white wine to deglaze. Quite often coq au vin is red wine, so we're doing coq au chardonnay today. Into the pan and start getting a little bit of colour on that, and then we're going to add our aromats and bay leaf and celery, leek, carrot, onion, and just let that start to brown. So classic French technique. And then when you get the nice little browny crust on your bones, then you deglaze with a little bit of wine and then top up with stock, and then just let the whole thing cook away, reduce down, and we'll come back to that later. What I'm going to do now is to start sautéing off the morel mushrooms. Add a little bit of finely diced shallot to that butter and just get that foaming before we add the mushrooms. We're now starting to get some of that aroma off the aromats, the thyme and the caramelised vegetables and the bone. So we're just going to deglaze that with a little white wine. And now I'll just pour the stock in and just let that cook down a little bit. And to the morels, I'm just going to add a little bit of cream just to start off the creamy sauce. Here's those lovely little breasts off the poussin. David is now combining the herbs to make the paste that goes underneath the chicken skin.
What was in the herbs?
It's 2 parts tarragon to a little bit of flat leaf parsley, oil, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of garlic as well.
Then we're going to vacuum seal them, and they go into a water bath for just around about 9 minutes. Here are the thighs and legs that we boned in the marinade, and we're going to roll them in some of the pancetta. And this is going to be the echo of bacon in the dish. Now, you know the leg and the thigh is all a wonderful gelatinous meat, so we want to keep that moisture. We cook it very slowly, 59 Celsius at 45 minutes in the water bath, and then it gets finished in the pan to crisp up on the outside. We've got a lovely reduction here, and you can probably smell it.
Yes.
We're now going to just strain what we've got there into our mushrooms And we're going to press all the goodness out of that. I can smell the thyme and the bay leaf.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the base of our mushroom sauce.
Can't do fine dining stuff. Where's my food?
That's pretty damn good, actually. Just one little other addition for the dish, and this has got nothing to do with coq au vin, but it's just a little bit of touch of whimsy. There's a classic sauce called bois boudin, which is redolent of tarragon, so it gives you a really nice tarragon hit. It's shallots, a little bit of passata or good tomato sauce, some Worcestershire, a couple of drops of Tabasco, and the 3 chopped herbs, the chervil, the tarragon and the chives. A strange combination, admittedly, but you just get this little hit of flavour on the plate that takes away the richness from the custard and the morels.
It's a lot sweeter than I thought it was going to be with the...
It's one of those things that when
crunch.
you're eating, you just get this little
Yeah.
hit. So it's just one of
And
those.
then the heat comes.
And then
with
the heat.
Tabasco.
And then the heat.
Good. Okay. We've taken these out of the water bath. So the breasts have been in for 9 minutes and the legs have been in for 45 minutes at 59 Celsius. What we're now going to do is just give them a little bit of love in some butter. This is actually cooked through. You could eat it now, but it just needs a bit of colouring on the skin. And in the second pan, we're just going to cook off our little spring garlic and then heat through the vegetables to finish the dish off. So we're now going to put the dish together. We've got the custards that have popped out of the oven after 45 minutes, and we've got the chicken that's been coloured after it's come out of the water bath, and the morels in the cream sauce. We've got some spring vegetables that have been finished off in butter, garlic shoots. So this is about colouring up the dish and making it speak of spring. Little spikes of bois boudin, and to finish, we've got some lovely flowers that are out at the moment. Garlic flower and comfrey, which is a relative of borage, and some oxalis. This is the stuff that gardeners pull out of their lawns because it's a weed, but it's actually a really lovely top note to a dish. So here it is, our spring version of the lake house coq au vin. So let's get into it.
Ladies first.
Yum.
Doesn't matter how many years you've been cooking, you still look for the reaction on the guest's face. It's a bit like, the end of the performance and you wait for the applause.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Pleasure.